Good morning and welcome to another special edition of Let It Be Known. This morning, we're talking with Cheryl Smith, the publisher of Texas Metro News and iMessenger Media, as we prepare for our national convention. Now, first, let us bring on our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacy Brown, and on behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Karen Carter Richards, our distinguished chair, our executive committee, all 230 African-American owned newspapers and media companies across the country. And of course, Cheryl Smith is our Region 4 president of the NNPA. I'm so glad all the work she's doing in Dallas and around the country. I'm looking forward to her interview. Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday is the beginning of our convention. And so excited that Shaka Khan is going to be performing on Friday, and we have great awards, great messages, and great information for the Black press of America, as well as for the public at large.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk more about our virtual convention coming up. But first, Dr. Chavis, after winning the 100-meter final at the U.S. Olympic track and field trial Saturday with a time of 10.86 seconds, yelling in celebration as she crossed the finish line, Sha'Carri Richardson took off into the stands. She scaled the concrete steps at Haywood Field and rounded the corner to section 119, where her grandmother, Betty Hart, was waiting and smiling. Then Richardson, one of the fastest women ever, celebrated in the only way that she felt right to her in the moment. She gave her grandmother a hug. She says her grandmother is her heart, her inspiration, her superwoman. Richardson is just 21 years old, Dr. Chavis, and she ran a 10.64 in the semifinals, and she's going to Tokyo, where she will compete in the Olympics. What a weekend for Sha'Carri Richardson.
Absolutely, and her mother just recently passed, so we extend her condolences. And you can tell there's a tight bond between her and her grandmother, her whole family. As soon as she won, her first thought was to congratulate her family. And I think that is so important for our viewers today across America, particularly for Black America. Families are important, and it gives us a sense of not only our foundation, but our outlook, our perspective. And at 21 years old, as fast as she's running, she's got a great career ahead of her. And, I would say this way, sister keeps it real. And I think a lot of people were criticizing her because of her hair color or because of her tattoos. Listen, this sister is emblematic of the new generation of the future. We got to be more supportive of our young people rather than offering criticism. You know how, unfortunately, Stacy, there's some player haters out there, yeah. And some of them are in our own community, and that's why we have the Black press to lift up our heroes and our sheroes.
Yeah, she reminds many of FloJo and Gail Devers. This young lady is special, Dr. Chavis. She's very special on track and field, and it would be almost an upset if she doesn't come home from Tokyo with the gold.
Well, we're going to be praying for her. She's made a critical step forward, and of course, she has to stay focused. She's got a great coach that she also acknowledged. So she's been working on this for a long time. Even though she's 21, she's been running for a while. She's in excellent shape. But the thing that I think that's going to give her an edge, Stacey, is not only her athletic ability, her athletic training, but her sense of purpose in the world. She has at her age, she's very self-determined. And I think that's going to give her an edge. When she's out, she said it, when she's out there on the track, hey, yeah. She intends to do her best. She's not taking anything from anybody.
Yeah, it was so interesting too. In the semifinals, she got off to such a great start. Although she was trailing just for a half of a second, she was trailing. At the end there, she knew she was going to win this, and she pointed to the clock. She realized that she was on the cusp of history. And she pointed to that clock and saw that amazing time, 10.64 seconds for the 100-meter dash. She was flying, Dr. Chavis.
Oh, absolutely. Again, That's part of when we strive for excellence as a people, we attain excellence as a people.
Yeah, and congratulations again to Sha'Carri Richardson.
We need to get her, you know, so everybody in the world is reaching for her, but we're going to have to get her on Let It Be Known. We're going to have to get her on the Chavis Chronicles. We're going to have to get her in the black press so we can give her her accolades.
Absolutely. And Dr. Chavis, speaking of accolades, there are several that be handed out this week during the National Newspaper Publishers Association's annual convention. It's virtual again this year, obviously because of the pandemic, but nonetheless, it's still going to be such a show, such a week, Dr. Chavis, that kicks off really in earnest tomorrow. And we will start right here, actually, on Let It Be Known with the chair of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Karen Carter Richards. We are looking forward to Karen as well. But Dr. Chavis, there's a whole lineup of great guests for the convention. Is great information. Of course, we have the CDC and Dr. Fauci, and also Benjamin Crump, the great attorney, civil rights attorney, who helped get justice for the family of George Floyd. Also, special messages from NBA great Isaiah Thomas, Public Enemies Chuck D, Russell Simmons, as we mentioned, Cedric Richmond, Raphael Warnock, the senator out of Georgia, of course, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Special legacy awards to the young woman, speaking of George Floyd, who took the video that led to the prosecution of Derek Chauvin and other officers, Darnella Frazier. She's 18 years old now, and she's going to receive the highest journalism award that the National Newspaper Publishers Association issues, the Ida B. Wells Award. And we have Keith Ellison. We have the Attorney General out of Minnesota. He's also going to receive an award, as well as Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Count Basie Orchestra, Dr. Chavis, I know you're excited about that. And Dr. Starsky Wilson of the Children's Defense Fund, Dr. Kasmikia Corbett, the young Black doctor who was instrumental in putting together the vaccine for the coronavirus. So we got so much going on. And Dr. Chavis, I know the big night, the headliner on Friday night is none other than 10-time Grammy Award winner, the legendary Chaka Khan.
Absolutely. And we're giving Chaka Khan the Lifetime Achievement Legacy Award on behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. And she's agreed to give us a concert, a special concert for the Black press of America. Chaka Khan.
That's going to be totally awesome. We're also going to hear from Stephanie Mills. And guess what? So there's been a lot of buzz. Everyone loves that program, Versus. There's a lot of buzz, and we're hearing that Stephanie Mills and Chaka Khan might be coming up soon on Versus. Everybody will watch that, I'm sure. So we are looking forward to that as well. Good morning to David Youngblood. Good morning. Bobby Henry, of course, is watching us out of Florida, the West Side Gazette. Our chair, Karen Carter Richards, is with us this morning watching. Michelle Madison. Annette Phillips is watching as well. Joni King, and so many others. But we also want to say a special good morning to our special guest, the publisher of iMessenger Media and the Texas Metro News, Cheryl Smith. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Region 4, President of the NNPA, Cheryl Smith. You got several titles. We're so glad to have you with the Black press, and looking forward to a great week this week.
You know, I got so excited just hearing Stacy give the rundown. I mean, I love the Black press so much. And then to hear all of these people going to be here. And I think about Miss Richardson as well as Miss Frazier. And both of them have been criticized.
Yes.
And they're getting what the Black press gets unfairly so much. So for us to come out and celebrate them and to send a message, Dr. Chavis, as you're doing about, you know, we need to stop tearing our people down.
That's right.
And so I'm really excited. But you talk about having my long, you know, Chuck D and I were almost teenagers when we met. And we've been good friends for years. And yeah, Chaka Khan, I'm looking forward to it. The only downside is that we're not together, but I'm looking forward to that time when we can be together again.
Absolutely. We're planning now 2022 convention now is going to be in New Orleans, and in 2023 we'll probably be in Nashville. So we're and hopefully next year, Cheryl, the pandemic will be at a point that will be safe for all of our publishers, for the public to come out. No, we want to put public health, first, protect everyone, and that's why we're having our convention virtually. But you know what? Last year we had our first virtual convention, Cheryl, and over almost 100,000 viewers viewed the show over a period of time. So it was very impactful. Even though it was virtual, we actually had greater impact than being just in physical contact.
Yeah, and that is great to spread the message. I don't know about anyone else, but when I come to an NNPA convention, I feel validated.
Yes, yes.
I say the world is missing this, but this is something that didn't just start for me. I, even as a young child in Newark, New Jersey, I read the Black press, and then I went to Florida A&M. Capital Outlook was there for us, and any city I go into, I go and try to find the Black newspaper so I can see what's going on with my people.
Yeah. We talked about Stephanie Mills, and one of the things that she spoke about was the Amsterdam News. And I know that very well, growing up in New York myself. That was a must, Cheryl Smith.
Yes.
You had to have the Black press on that coffee table, and the Amsterdam News. And as Stephanie mentioned, Ebony was there as well. And, Ebony's in the family. So the Black press has always been a vital part of Black America. Our founders, right? They said, we wish to plead our own cause. For too long, others have spoken for us. So we continue to bring that message to the community at large, Cheryl Smith, and you guys out in Texas. You do such a great job. You're everywhere. We see your we see your newsletter. We see the email blast. But more importantly, in seeing that, Cheryl, we see the great work that you guys do. How are you able to do this? We know we're in a pandemic still, although many don't want to behave like we're still in a pandemic. But you're still, the challenges has always been there for the Black press, especially, someone like yourself. Many of our publishers, Black women owned. You guys put your heart and soul in it. How are you able to continue on despite the pandemic, despite the fact that we keep changing? Now we're in a virtual world.
But that's what Black women do. We take care of business. And the one thing, when the pandemic hit, I can tell you that it is really thanks to NNPA that I did not panic, because I had the support of a strong base. But even I also thought about, we're going through tough times, and during tough times, you think of those people who are there for you and with you. And so the Black press couldn't go away. We needed to be even stronger and be in folks' face and giving them the information that they needed. Because guess what? A lot of the news outlets across the country and around the world, they act like they weren't experts that look like us. But thanks to NNPA, we got to be in touch with experts. We got to bring them to our audiences, and it helped build us stronger. So as we come out of this pandemic, which I was on a flight last night, and for some reason people didn't want to wear their masks, and it was very frustrating to me. But as we come out of it, people are going to look around and see who was there for them during tough times. And NNPA, the Black press, we were there. We're still going hard and strong, because that's the legacy. We're standing on the shoulders of some dynamic men and women who pleaded our cause when no one else would not give us courtesy titles, would not call us, they would not call Dr. Chavis Doctor. They might not even call him Ben. They might call him Boy or some other name. So we're so important, and we have to stay on top of things. And fortunately for us with NNPA has, we're the White House and others are recognizing and giving us the respect that we deserve. And other organizations are. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about NNPA. And I say we have to come harder. We have to help one another get through these times.
Yeah, absolutely right. And our the NNPA's executive administrator Claudette Perry is watching, and you're right. When the pandemic hit, now she and Dr. Chavis and the team, they always, as you well know, work hard workers, right? But they really rolled their sleeves up when the pandemic hit. Dr. Chavis never missed a beat. He Cheryl, we would have to tell Norman and I and others would say, Dr. Chavis, you're traveling again. He says he got to do what he got to do to help these publishers and be there for NNPA. And I tell you what, you got to see the cream rise because, as I said, Claudette Perry, Dr. Chavis, of course, our chair, Karen Carter Richards, they rose to the occasion. And so, as you noted, the organization really stepped up for its members, and it's so good to hear you, one of our distinguished publishers, say that so publicly because people need to know, don't they, Cheryl?
Hey, I did not panic at all because I had NNPA, and it was such a relief because people were panicking all around you. And you mentioned our distinguished chair. I was in Houston recently, and it is just so exciting. Some people don't have any idea just how great. When you look at the covers of our papers, when folks were talking about covers, I know I sent when I call him Dr. Dick Gregory, his wife Lillian, I sent her papers from when he transitioned. And I didn't send her the other no-name papers. I sent her papers from NNPA because sometimes people get fooled, and they did that especially with the Obama election because after after Senator Obama won, folks were running out buying mainstream newspapers. And when you look at the covers of NNPA members of the
Yes.
Black press, our covers were fantastic. But, we're still dealing with that and I don't mind a fight. I'm going to fight until I cannot fight anymore. My last breath will be fighting to share the Black experience. This is Black history. I'm talking about HBCUs, Black businesses, the Black press, and the Black church also, even though I will say that a lot of them were empty and not doing anything during the pandemic. And that sends a message also because if you can't be relevant during hard times, you can't be relevant when it's over. So that's going to be something we're going to be tackling in our papers. But I wake up every day thinking, people say, what do you do for fun? It's fun for me to educate, inform, enlighten, and yes, entertain our people.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Chavis, I have to share Bobby Henry's message. I was talking about Dr. Chavis's relentless travel, which it's so true. But Dr. Chavis, Bobby says when Dr. Chavis did travel, he looked like he was in a science laboratory. He was masked and gloved up.
That's correct. You have taken proper precautions. But I just want to note and thank Cheryl for her leadership there in Dallas and in the region. The truth of the matter is, Cheryl, even though we had an excruciating, devastating pandemic in 2020, over the last 2 years, it's been some of the best 2 years in the history of the NNPA. We've grown, our membership has increased, our advertising buys have increased, our fellowship among the publishers has increased. And, and I'm so proud of Black women, Cheryl, you and others. Our whole executive team are African-American women. Our chair, our first vice chair, our second vice chair, our secretary, our treasurer. You are the regional president. And I'm so proud that Black women are stepping up in leadership of the NNPA.
Well, we're having that support. You say we need support because sometimes, and I mentioned Dick Gregory, he talked about how vilified Black women have been over time. And we see that with, Darnella Frazier and Miss Richardson. And so,
Yes.
And we have an outstanding leadership team. You are exactly right. And we love having the support of the men. I was in Florida yesterday and visited my classmate, Bobby Henry, and West Side Gazette. But guess what? Wherever I go, whether it's visiting the Birmingham Times or Los Angeles Sentinel, when I visit cities, I go looking for my people.
Great.
When I'm talking to people in those cities, I ask them, are they advertising? Because it all comes around. We have to realize that whatever money, even in Dallas, where we have several Black-owned newspapers, anybody giving me money, they're not giving me all their money. So why can't I pump up the other Black newspapers? And guess what I do? Because when we all do good, when one of us does good, all of us do good. And we have to continue to support one another. So I'm not fighting with anybody. I'm trying to lift us all up.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great.
And Cheryl, what I know, again, I said it earlier. You, I get your email blast. I read your paper. But what can we expect coming up in the coming weeks from the Texas Metro News and iMessenger Media?
Well, it's going to get a little controversial because I'm going to be dealing with, and I've been talking about, Black elected officials supporting the Black press more, not getting excited when they make a paragraph in one of the other papers, but showing love for us, making sure we're engaged and involved. So I've been tackling that, and with Black businesses, and also looking at agencies that do business, because some of them seem to think that they can marginalize the Black press, and I refuse to let that happen. So we're going to be calling them out. We're going to be talking to Black businesses, because if we have a business in our community, Black-owned business, that is doing, let's say, 6 figures, and they say, well, we don't need to advertise because we have a lot of business. It's not just because you're not just advertising for business. You're supporting your community. You're supporting the growth and development of your community. And if you were not a Black-owned business in our community making 6 figures, we would be criticizing you because you're making money from us and taking it into other communities. So now's the time to call out those who are not supporting us, and also looking at educating people and getting them ready for the midterm elections. And our Texas legislature, Black legislators met in Houston, and I was there, and esteemed chair and others, and Mr. Boney was there also. And we talked about how we can work together and how we can educate and get our people to vote. So those are some of the things we're going to be working on. And then we're going to be getting people ready to go back to school, because there are millions and billions of dollars out there for education and growth and development. And we have to make sure that our children are receiving some of those benefits.
So, Stacy, there are 2 segues to what Cheryl just said. First, on Black businesses. And Cheryl, on Thursday afternoon, during our virtual convention, we're going to have the administrator from the Small Business Administration, the SBA, from the Department of Commerce. Her name is Isabella Guzman. And we're building a relationship now between the NMPA and SBA, because we want to make sure that all of our publishers across the United States and all other Black-owned businesses across the United States get the benefits of the Biden-Harris administration now, putting an emphasis on equity, putting an emphasis on economic development, putting an emphasis on making sure that the resources are provided to keep our businesses sustainable. So I want everybody to do, that's one of the workshops that's going to be at our convention. The Small Business Administration is presenting at the NMPA convention. And then on education, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we have a great dialogue with Sister Fort, who's the president and CEO of Ed Trust, the leading education foundation in America. So we're going to cover all those points, Cheryl, at our convention.
Oh, that is wonderful. And you mentioned education, because our HBCs, I just have to give a shout out to Deion Sanders, because what he is doing for HBCUs and getting athletes to look at coming back, that is absolutely wonderful. And also we're getting the National Association of Black Journalists, and I'm the National Secretary. We're getting them more engaged, and people are looking to the Black press where you can make a living working and have more leadership, if you will, in the news organization. There's a lot of room for growth and development. So I am so excited at even coming to a virtual NNPA conference, because there's so much information being shared, and we are folks like being a part of a moving train, and thanks to your leadership, you know, we're moving and we're moving fast.
Well, and you know, Jackie Hampton of the Mississippi Link, she's watching this morning.
Hey,
Jackie says, hey, also always appreciate Gregory Mohammed. He is watching. He says, that's right, Sister Cheryl, we must support each other. Let the NNPA rise. Unity is our success. Lynn Spivey says she's looking forward to the convention as well. David Youngblood, who we appreciate. We actually had David co-host one of our shows. David says he wants some of those federal pandemic dollars going directly to the Black press, advertising dollars, media dollars. David, it goes without saying, we are 100% with you on that. Dr. Chavis, we also have an updated trailer to the convention. We're gonna show as we close out, but before we close out, I want you to get your last thoughts with Cheryl Smith.
Well, again, Cheryl Smith, we thank you for your leadership, and we thank you for not just being a symbol, but a reality for African American women in the publishing industry. I'm so proud of what you do there in Dallas and around the country. And please give our best greetings to our brothers and sisters at NABJ, you know, the NNPA, NABJ. We work together to strengthen our impact and to be an advocate for freedom, justice, and equality. God bless you, Cheryl.
God bless you too.
And Cheryl, Sabrina Beeson is watching, and she says, I'm so proud of this dynamic woman, my sister Cheryl Smith. Keep up the excellent work.
I love it.
And folks, don't forget, tomorrow, our chair herself will be here with us, Karen Carter Richards from the Houston Forward Times. And as already stated, the last 2 years under Karen Carter Richards' guidance, along with Dr. Chavis and the executive team, the NNPA has been as successful as it's ever been. So we are looking forward to talking to our distinguished chair. And in the words of Stacey Abrams, let it be known, leadership is about answering that question, how can I help? Now let's take a look at our preview for our national convention.
Government officials insist that this is an isolated incident.
Karen Carter Richards, distinguished chair of the NNPA, the National Newspaper Publishers Association.
We're stronger than we've ever been. I am so proud to chair this organization because we've always known that we've been a resilient people.
Welcome, Attorney Crump.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Stacy, and to my mentor, Dr. Ben Chavis. So many times, he has not only provided us an avenue to get the message to our communities on cases that mainstream media won't cover, talking about Black lives that matter.
Hello, I'm Isaiah Thomas, and I want to salute President and CEO Ben Chavis, Senior National Correspondent Stacy Brown, and the entire NNPA executive team of Karen Carter Richards on the 194th anniversary of the Black Press of America.
Hi, this is Congressman Cedric Richmond, Senior Advisor to President Biden and Director of the White House Office of Public Engagement, wishing NNPA a happy 81st anniversary and the Black Press of America a happy 194th anniversary.
Oh, the Black Press of America is absolutely critical in so many ways, but particularly for what you and I are talking about today.
As Speaker of the House, it is my honor to bring congratulations to the Black Press of America.
The Black press was so important in my whole upbringing and my success of my career. You know, Ebony and Jack and Amsterdam News and Harlem and all of that was so important.
John P. Key.
I grew up reading the Carolina Times, so the Black press was so important to us as a family.